Welcome everybody to a new analysis of Tridomics. In this video, we analyze Nike and we will try to give an answer based on our methodology. Is that the right time to buy Nike? So let's find it out. So stay tuned until the end of the video to find out the answer. In order to do that, we have to understand a little bit the trend over the last 3-4 years to have a better picture of what is happening to Nike stock. So first of all, we have to go back to 2020 and have an understanding on what has happened. So from this low occurred on the 17th of March 2020, we have had a nearly downward cycle positive that ended on the 24th of March 2021. Total duration of this positive downward cycle has been of 257 days, which is a median duration between 190 days to 338 days. Subsequently, we have had another yearly negative downward cycle. Negative because we have had a total duration of 318 days, but the low in which it ended was lower compared to the low from which it started. And we have had also a Bayer tongue. The Bayer tongue is a cycle, in this case was a negative cycle, encompassed between what? A first bi-yearly downward cycle and a second bi-yearly downward cycle. Okay, so the Bayer tongue, and you can find it out more about the Bayer tongues in our video introduction to the T-cycle analysis, is a cycle that has a duration of a 3 degrees less, which is encompassed between other two cycles. In this case was of the first T plus 6 and the second T plus 6. Therefore, T plus 6 minus 3 is a T plus 3, and T plus 3 is a 3 months cycle with a duration between 48 and 89 days considering standard duration, and considering an hybrid cycle T plus 3H, it's between 90 to 93 days. Okay, so the total duration in this case of this Bayer tongue has been of 64 days. From this low occurred on the 3rd of October 2022, we have had a second bi-yearly cycle that has been divided in the first yearly neutral downward cycle, and now we have this other negative yearly downward cycle. So overall, here we are about to complete a T plus 7, which is a cycle that has a duration between 3 to 5 years. And this is going to be a neutral shape because now the price has reached $75, and from this low, the price was $57. So we are not so far away considering the absolute low. We are about 23%. So now the question is, so what? And in order to understand the so what, let's focus on the last year, especially after yesterday's or Friday's earning release and this harsh gap down. So first of all, the first thing that we have to analyze is at which point in time we are from this low. If we gauge time, we have now a situation where we have 189 days of this yearly negative downward cycle. So 189 days, it's not even the minimum duration of 190 days. Therefore, we can expect at least another day to the downside. Another day to the downside, it means that we have to go lower at $74.55. But given that now this cycle is negative and we haven't reached even the minimum duration, we can have a situation where we gonna further proceed to the downside at least for 190 days, so at least until 1st of July. But we can proceed to the downside until a medium duration of a T plus 5, which is around 250 days. So we can proceed to the downside until October, but we can, in the worst case scenario, proceed to the downside until 338 days. So until January 31st of January 2025. How can we further be precise? Well, we can further be precise by studying the subcycles. The first subcycle of this yearly downward cycle has been first T plus 3, so a first 3-month cycle, and then we have had another 3-month cycle, second T plus 3. This cycle has been a T plus 4, and if we gauge the time of this T plus 4, we have had a total duration of 130 days. Now, from this low occurred on the 5th of April 2024, we have the evidence that another T plus 3 or a T plus 4 has been developed. Therefore, this T plus 3, T plus 4 can have a duration of 48, 89 days or 94 to 168 days. Now, if we gauge time, we have a situation where we have 58 days. So here, a T plus 3 can also be completed because we have the necessary and sufficient condition to finish this T plus 3. But we also have to be aware that here we can have a T plus 4. So in that case, we can have a bounce back to the upside and further continue to the downside, because a T plus 4 can have a minimum duration of 94 days, and 94 days is further downtrend until 19th of August 2024. So to summarize it, does it make sense, statistically speaking, to buy Nike right now? Well, we have always to be aware that the more we go to the medium duration, the higher probability we have to start a new cycle. And if we consider the extremes, so 190 to 200 days or 300 days to 338 days, we have less probabilities to start a new T plus 5. Therefore, from a statistical perspective, we have a high possibility to continue further to the downtrend and continue further to the downtrend at least in the range of a medium duration. So therefore, we might expect more than 30 days further to the downside. And this will make sense because we are about to close a T plus 7. And in order to close a T plus 7, we need at least a T plus 5, which is negative, or sorry, a T plus 4, which is negative, because we have to close with a cycle of 3 degrees less. Here now we have even entire T plus 5, which is negative. So the first target here would be, the natural target would be around 69, even to be precise, would be at $69.45, also to close this gap up. So we might have further downtrend. Statistically speaking, there's no sense to buy Nike right now because we have to wait that this particular T+3 or even T+4 will end. And to finish a T+4, we need between 94 to 168 days. So that is the conclusion of the video. And this is happening regardless of the earnings. Here we had a better than expected earnings, and here we have now this condition. Okay, so we are about also to close this. It seems that this will be mostly a neutral cycle. So a return in this area, but also in this area around $60 might be possible because we have time. Now the hedge funds or the funds have time to reach historical levels, and that's why I opened this analysis back to 2020 before starting something new. So before starting a new multi-year downward cycle as it was in 2020. So hope this analysis has given you a lot of insights. If you wanna watch our videos of this kind, and if you wanna be always informed about the latest analysis that we issue, given that time is money, then subscribe to our channel and don't forget to put a like in of our videos. Thanks for watching and see you to the next episode.